A state investigation says a former social worker accused of making a politically motivated child abuse claim did not do her other casework properly. Robin Nicetta already faces charges for filing a false claim against an Aurora City Councilwoman.
The state is now recommending Arapahoe County reopen several cases Nicetta was involved in to make sure the children were safe. Here's 9 News reporter Mark Salinger.
The report details many failures inside the Arapahoe County Department of Human Services.
Yes.
Aurora City Council member Danielle Jurinsky says she's experienced them firsthand.
I mean, you feel powerless when it comes to your children and this looming thought that your child's going to be taken from you.
The state began investigating former social caseworker Robin Nicetta 2 months ago after she was arrested and charged with filing false child abuse claims against Jurinsky. Jurinsky was critical of Nicetta's ex-partner, former Aurora Police Chief Vanessa Wilson. Jurinsky says the false claims were filed in an act of retribution.
In the beginning, I also believed this was an isolated incident. Absolutely not anymore. This is a systemic problem. It keeps happening.
The state writes it has concerns about Nicetta's failure to perform work in accordance with the Colorado Code of Regulations, according to the audit published Monday by the Colorado Department of Human Services. In some cases, Nicetta made no documented efforts to contact necessary family members involved in child welfare investigations. Arapahoe County tells 9 News Nicetta failed to completely investigate cases of child abuse, and her supervisor did not catch it.
But I think that this report is very telling as to what Robin Nicetta was really up to and the lack of oversight and the lack of supervision in Arapahoe County DHS.
A new class action lawsuit filed by Jurinsky and around 30 other families alleges that Arapahoe County DHS baselessly and falsely separated children from their families. At least 9 of those cases involve Nicetta.
This shouldn't have ever happened to all the families it's happening to. There should have been oversight on Robin Nicetta's work.
The State Department of Human Services is now recommending another audit to determine how deep the problems are with case practice and supervision.
Arapahoe County says it will add new measures to stop, quote, bad actors from infiltrating the system in the future. Spokesperson for the county didn't provide specifics about what those changes entail and declined an interview to answer our questions. Kim.
And you talk about a supervisor in this case. What do you know about the supervisor?
Yeah, we've asked the state if that supervisor is still working or if anybody will face any punishment. They haven't answered those questions, and at this point it's unclear about what happens next.
Okay, well, we need some answers to those questions. All right, thank you, Mark.
The woman left inside a patrol car who was hit by a train is now out of the hospital. The attorney for Ureni Rios-Gonzalez says she's home, still in a lot of pain, stuck in bed. A Platteville officer stopped her in connection with a 911 call about a road rage incident. The officer parked his patrol car on the railroad tracks. That officer and others from Fort Lupton left Rios-Gonzalez in the car. They were not hurt. She was when that train came through and smashed into the vehicle. Her attorney says she ended up with 9 broken ribs. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation is looking into the officer's actions.
A newly unsealed affidavit says the man accused of killing an Arvada police officer didn't realize he was shooting at an officer. He told investigators he thought he fired at a family member of the mother of his children. An arrest affidavit for Sonny Almanza says that the shooting started because of a custody dispute between Almanza and the mother of his 2 kids. The affidavit says he heard his ex left their children at her mother's house, so he drove to get them and brought them back to his home in Arvada. While on the way, Almanza told investigators he got threatening calls and text messages from his ex. He and his sister called police on their way home. When they got there, members of his ex's family were already outside. Almanza grabbed a rifle from his apartment and fired once into the air and then again at the sister of his ex. Almanza was shot in the hip and turned around and fired. He told investigators he didn't realize he had shot Officer Dylan Vakoff until then. Almanza is facing charges of murder and attempted murder.
The 2 finalists for Aurora Police Chief are in town today. First big day of in-person interviews. So leaders in Colorado's most diverse city will be choosing between 2 white men for the job of police chief. Last week, the city said that it tried to find diverse finalists, but ended up with 3 white guys. That quickly became 2 after 1 dropped out. So now it's Scott Ebner, Deputy Superintendent for New Jersey State Police, and David Franklin, Chief of Staff at Albuquerque PD. Today, they're touring the Aurora Police facility, meeting with employees there. Tomorrow, they'll interview with the community panel, meet with leaders of cultural, faith, and business communities. And tomorrow night, the finalists will be at a public meet and greet. Wednesday, they interview with city leaders. It was City Manager Jim Twombly who fired former Chief Vanessa Wilson earlier this year. He selects the new police chief. That has to get approval from the majority on City Council. The city expects to make a selection by the end of October.
Students and parents expressed concerns tonight about sexual assault on CU Boulder's campus. The university held a town hall to share results from a survey conducted last year. It found fewer students are reporting being sexually assaulted, but leaders acknowledged it's still a really big problem. 9 News reporter Kelly Rinke breaks it down for us. Kelly.
Yeah, hey Kim, this survey looked at how often sexual assaults are happening on campus and when and where. This is data that's a follow-up to a survey done back in 2015. Back then, that's when nearly 30% of undergrad women reported being sexually assaulted. In 2021, the number dropped to 15%. The survey broke down reported assaults by location. 30% of the survivors said they were assaulted at a Greek chapter house. The survey also found 71% of assaults happened in a student's first fall semester. CU Boulder says while the rates of sexual assault are decreasing on campus, the acts were more severe. For example, more students reported the perpetrators used incapacitation or force.
Today is about transparency and laying the groundwork for continued progress. Taking in this information that you're about to hear is step one. At the same time, we know that we must quickly turn to the question, so what do we do now?
One student who was at that meeting shared why she was concerned about her safety while going to frat parties. As a freshman, she said friends told her which houses were safe to go into and which ones she should stay away from. CU Boulder recently launched a new sexual misconduct task force to address crime on campus. They will review this data from the survey and recommend prevention practices to be implemented across that campus, Kim.
Okay, well, they can learn a lot from the survey and also look at the pandemic years and realize they probably aren't indicative of where things are now.
Yes, and they're also looking at how those trends and how that time off campus had impacted numbers. They're also thinking the Me Too movement probably had some impact in decreasing those numbers as well.
No doubt. All right, thank you, Kelly.
We're getting a new look today at the moment when an RTD train derailed last week in Aurora. Both of our trains, 45-ton cars, derailed Wednesday afternoon. RTD's dispatch note said the train came around the corner too fast and half of it ended up on the sidewalk. Video from inside the cab shows the train coming off the tracks. Stuff is shifting and falling inside the cabin. RTD can't say how fast the train was going. They can go up to 55 miles per hour. 3 people were hospitalized. RTD had more issues today. The R line is still partially closed as crews fix the track and cables. The R, E, and H lines were all closed south of Colorado Station this morning as they repaired overhead wires. E and the H are back up and running now, but there's still a bus doing the R line route between Florida and 13th Avenue in Aurora.
A century-old shipping law is keeping gas of Puerto Rico as nearly half keep off of the island as nearly half of the island waits for power to come back.
NASA intentionally smashes a spacecraft into an asteroid in case they ever need to, save all life on Earth.